If you are not vaccinated, you are at considerable risk. When you have such a low level of vaccination superimposed upon a variant that has a high degree of efficiency of spread, what you are going to see among under-vaccinated regions, be they states, cities, or counties, you're going to see these individual types of blips. It's almost like it's going to be two Americas.
Two Americas. Are you vaccinated? Oh, I hope you're vaccinated, right? I mean, the system's been telling you have to get vaccinated. Haven't you heard? We're all going to die if you don't get vaccinated. Grandma's going to die. Little Timmy can't go back to school or he'll die. His teacher will just fall over dead one day while they're doing their multiplication tables. The sky is falling. Haven't you heard? Stop me if any of this sounds familiar, right? I mean, have you seen the headlines lately? Have you seen all these headlines about the Delta variant? There's a new Delta variant. Oh my, this is way worse. It's way worse than before. I mean, definitely more people are going to die now. Aren't you sick of all this fear-mongering crap? I mean, I'm sorry to put it so bluntly like that. Aren't you sick of all this fear-mongering crap? But I do want to unpack this really quickly here, because already we have Biden officials now. Quote, Biden officials, this is from Biden.com, or from Breitbart.com, sorry. Biden officials rethinking coronavirus measures amid fears of variant surge. And of course, you know, the poll, we have a new poll out saying the American people, they don't necessarily agree with the fear-mongering. All right, so Trafalgar Group puts out a poll. 63% of people say the government should take no action in response to the Delta variant. 17.7% of people who've been traumatized forever say they should reinstate the mask mandates, blah-de-blah-de-blah-de. We're not going into all that. So what's happening, right? What is happening? How are we supposed to unpack this new Delta variant stuff? And I'm not a doctor. Maybe there is a Delta variant. Maybe there's a new coronavirus thing out there. Maybe it is deadlier than before. But there's that old story, right, of the boy who cried wolf. I mean, I'm old enough to remember a little more than a year ago when you and I were sitting at home, minding our own business, going to work, kids going to school, living our lives, and the system, Dr. Fauci most definitely included, the system, the World Health Organization, we'll get to them in a moment, the media, everybody and their brother decided coronavirus was going to be the end of the world if we didn't stop our economy from moving, slaughter small businesses, and of course, get some more mail-in ballots. But that's another story. And so we were abused by our government, you and I, for over a year. Abused repeatedly. In fact, you're still being abused. All these stupid regulations and rules out there everywhere that have long since been shot down. And keep in mind, as a brief side note, lockdowns don't work. They don't work. If lockdowns worked, then the second Texas and Florida and those states opened up again, people would have been dying in droves. But Texas and Florida and other states opened up, and everything was fine. And remember, we had Dr. Fauci coming on the TV saying, I don't know what Texas is doing. The people are about to die. But they're packing into stadiums? What? This is going to be a disaster. And then 3 weeks later, when everybody was fine, he got on TV and was asked about it. And he's, I don't really know. So what's happening now? Why is this happening? Why is Joe Biden rethinking things? We have World Health Organization, keep in mind, is backed by China. We have World Health Organization rethinking things. But, well, let's do the math here. We have Joe Biden. We have Hunter Biden. What's the big scandal with who they're tied to? Unquestionably, Hunter Biden is tied. Who's he tied to? What's the scandal out there? That's right, China. So we have the Bidens, they're right here, and they're tied to China, all right? All right, let's set them aside for a moment. We have the World Health Organization. They're, of course, starting to fearmonger about Delta variant, too. They're right here, and what did we find out over the course of the last year? Who calls the shots at the World Health Organization? Oh, that's right, that's China, too. Now, I don't want to put a piece of tinfoil on my head here, but the American people have no appetite for this. I just read you the Trafalgar poll. The American people have no appetite whatsoever for more lockdowns. None. 60-some percent. I don't know that you could get 60-some percent of the American people to agree on anything right now. But 60-some percent said, no, let's not do that again. No, in fact, don't do anything. Why would Joe Biden start to rethink opening up, start to rethink mask mandates and all these other things? Well, we have Joe Biden, and we have the World Health Organization, and we have China, and we have Joe Biden and the World Health Organization in China, and Biden and health in China. And it almost seems like, man, that almost looks like a circle, doesn't it? It almost seems like all the people who are trying to rob you of your freedom and destroy your economy, it almost seems like they're people who've had long-standing ties with each other, and they're all working towards the same goal. Where does that leave us as a nation? Did you see this doctor, by the way? This Dr. Brett Giroir. I'm positive I pronounced that wrong, but I went to community college. You see what this guy said? Listen to this.
When you get to the ultimate source of death, as the CNN would say in the autopsy, it was a lack of Chinese transparency early on. If we could have had that, sure, people would have died. We would have still had it throughout, but I think we could have had interventions much more timely because we would have known so much about the virus. This is a worldwide pandemic in which millions of people have died. It may have been a result of a lab leak. There will be other, and we think highly likely it is, there will be other pandemics in the future. And if there's something we need, not just Congress, and I know you need it, but the American people and the world needs it, is truth and transparency and openness and trust.
I'm sorry? Did he just say they think it comes from a lab? I mean, you think that. I'm looking at another poll. According to Rasmussen, 56% of American voters believe the Chinese government created COVID-19 as a bioweapon, and about the same amount believe the U.S. government knew it and covered it up. So it's not just me clearly talking here. Clearly, this is something that is felt across the political spectrum in America. But again, I hate to keep coming back to this. Where does that leave us? What if on top of the Biden World Health Organization China connection, what if we just toss into that mix, oh, China did it on purpose? What do you know about me when it comes to foreign policy? Obviously, you know about the Marine Corps background stuff, you know that, but I'm talking about my foreign policy. How non-interventionist am I? Extremely, right? It just doesn't ever work. This nation-building stuff doesn't work. Either go there and conquer and take over the place and make it yours, or let them work it out. So I'm not an interventionist guy. But what if China unleashed a bioweapon on the American shores and it killed 600,000 Americans? Is that an act of war? That sounds like an act of war to me. I realize that's a lot to unpack, but if I were to say to you, let's take China out of it. Let's say, who else do we hate? Iran. It came out tomorrow that Iran dropped a bioweapon in LA and it spread across America and killed 600,000 Americans. What would you want done about that? You'd want Mecca to glow in the dark. Well, not Mecca, I'm sorry. You'd want Tehran to glow in the dark, wouldn't you? You'd be demanding American troops land on Iranian soil and start putting bodies in the ground, would you not? Now, the last thing in the world I want, oh gosh, I couldn't even fathom how terrible this would be a war with China. Okay, so if it's not open war, then what are we going to do about it if this stuff turns out to be true? Oh, I forgot to mention one final thing. Remember our little circle experiment there? I did it all with my fingers, no big deal, with the Biden and the World Health Organization in China. What if there's a fourth part of that circle? What if big tech, who controls the information flow in this country, what if they were in on all the censorship? Big tech has censored a lot when it comes to coronavirus from the very, very, very beginning. Anything outside of what the World Health Organization wanted and China wanted, big tech would censor it. What if this gigantic circle has been lying to you the entire time? Maybe something you and I should keep in mind every time we hear the words Delta variant from now on, huh?